putting on the new you. My name is Melvin, and I want to take this opportunity once again to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day, out of your very busy schedule, to watch these videos, and hopefully you're learning something that's life transforming. As we continue to progress through each lesson, we're going to move into different subject matter that we'll be able to build from where we've already started and be able to move on to the next thing. And hopefully you're taking an opportunity to practice the things that we've been discussing. I hope that you've been going back through the lessons that you can find on the YouTube channel. You can go to the website and see information that we're putting there. So please take the time to go and check that out. Hit that like button on Facebook and hit the subscribe button on YouTube. And I promise you, the information is only going to get better. Now, let's take a moment and do a recap of what we've learned thus far. So the first thing we began talking about was the fact that you are not a body. You have a physical body. Every day you look in the mirror, you see, your skin, you see your teeth, you see your eyes. You have a physical body. However, we learned that we are a spirit. We learn also that just as the physical body has the ability to touch and feel things, pick things up, and we can see with our natural eyes, we can hear with our natural ears, we say things with our natural mouth. We also discovered that your spirit also has the ability to receive information. Now, as we've level set on the fact that you are a spirit being, let's begin to talk about how your spirit works. I have a little box here, and this box is something that I want you to think about. This box is a container, right? So I can have anything in this container. This container can have $1 million in it. It can have a love note. It can have a variety of things on the inside of it. But this box doesn't determine what gets put inside of itself. It can house anything. I'm the one who decides, because this is my box, what's going to go into it, right? And I can protect this box because this box is important to me. Let's say that I have $100,000 in this box right now. I don't want everybody having access to this, right? So think in terms of your spirit also, like this box. What goes inside of that box, the box of your spirit, you are the one who ultimately decides. You may be thinking, well, how in the world do I put things into my spirit? We're going to get into that. So, as we begin discussing this box and how this box houses whatever I put into it, and that your spirit, like this box, can contain things, let's talk about eating, for an example. Think about your favorite meal, whether it's a steak or, if you like pizza a lot or whatever it may be. Take a moment and think about what that favorite meal of yours is, right? Now, natural food is designed to nourish our physical bodies. Whenever we put it inside of ourselves, your body breaks it down through the digestive process and sends things through your blood and your vital organs to give your body the nourishment that it needs, right, to sustain your life. Your spirit, depending upon the food that you give your spirit, will break that information down and begin to feed not only your body, but your entire life based on whatever that substance is. So, let's think about the word eat. And here's an acronym that I want you to consider when we're talking about the spirit. And in fact, how do I feed my spirit? What am I feeding my spirit? When is it even happening, right? So, the E in the word eat stands for entertaining. How do you entertain yourself? Now, we entertain ourselves in a multitude of ways, right? Whether it's going to a concert, or if we like to fish or do outdoor activities, whatever that may be, whatever you are entertaining in your life, the things not only that you like doing, but the ways in which you spend your time allowing yourself to digest information, you are in fact receiving that through your spiritual faculties, through your spiritual senses. Like, remember we talked about the body, how if I touch a hot stove, the sense organisms in my hand will let my brain know, hey, you touched the hot stove, and if you don't stop, you're going to burn yourself, right? Well, whenever you are entertaining an idea or you're doing something, your spirit is receiving that information through your eyes, through your ears. If you're having a conversation with someone, your spirit is digesting that information. Okay? Let's look at the letter A in the word eat. That stands for attention. How have you been spending your attention? What have you been giving attention to? What have you been focusing on in your life? What have you been allowing to consume your thoughts? Whether it's something that's good, beneficial, or something that's awful and terrible, your spirit is receiving that information, and guess what? It's digesting it. And let's look at the T in the word eat, right? That T stands for how you spend your time. What do you spend your time doing? How often are you doing those particular things? The time in which you spend doing whatever it may be, whether it's good or bad, that is in fact allowing your spirit to receive further data. And everything that you're receiving, whether it's something you're entertaining, something you're paying your attention to, or how you're spending your time, your spirit is receiving that as nourishment. Think about that for a moment. Think about the times in your life that were really, really bad, and consider, what were you doing during those times? How were you thinking? How were you talking? What did you allow yourself to spend time thinking about? You know, if it was a time that you were sick, did you think about how sick you felt often? Did people around you, when they were, talking to you, of course they love you and they wanted you to feel better, but was the majority of the conversation about how sick you were? Notice how that made you feel. Think about a time in life where you were very successful and you achieved something great, whether it was an award that you received or a project that you finally finished. Think about how much time you spent thinking about the success of that project and how did it make you feel. The reason why it made you feel so good is because your spirit received it as a seed and began to produce in your life, and that was a result of how you've been spending your time and what you've been giving your attention to. Now that we've discussed what it's like to eat things spiritually and how your spirit receives information, there's a scripture from the Bible that I'd like to share with you that I think will really bring this point home, because the spirit produces life. The spirit grows whatever is placed there, but the spirit itself does not determine what gets planted there. You do. Just like I said with this box cannot decide what goes into it unless it becomes alive, and then I'm going to probably throw it away. But this box doesn't decide what goes inside. I'm the owner of this box, and I decide what goes in it. You, being the owner of your spirit, decides what gets placed into your spirit. And here's how. It is through the gateway of your mind. Now, most of the time, we never think about our mind being a gateway. A gateway to what? Your mind is interlaced and interconnected with your spirit. And because they're connected, whatever you are spending your time doing gets received, and thoughts are generated from your mind. And that information, depending on how much time you give it, will begin to formulate your thoughts, which ultimately formulate your beliefs, and work in tandem with your spirit as nourishment. And ultimately, if you continue in that vein, you're going to see a result of that process. Let's read the scripture from Matthew chapter 17, verse 17 through 20. And it says, "Do you not yet understand that whatever enters the mouth goes into the stomach and is eliminated? But those things which proceed out of the mouth come from the heart, and they defile a man." We've already discussed that the heart is in fact your spirit. And this scripture just said it's what proceeds out of that heart. It can defile you. Isn't that amazing? Not only if you take that same concept and you put it as, if you began to feed yourself good things, It won't defile you. It'll bless your life. It'll increase you. It'll cause you to grow and expand and develop and become something great. So you really want to pay attention to what you're allowing to go inside this box, what you are allowing to go inside your spirit. So before I leave today, we're going to begin now transitioning into more of discussing how the process of working with your spirit actually takes place. So what I'm going to leave you with is this. Just as this box has a lid that I can open and close, I can put a lock on it to ensure that it doesn't open. Your mind is in fact the lid, so to speak, of what I'm able to open up and place inside my spirit, or what I can keep out. In the next lesson, we're going to begin talking about the mind, how the mind works, and the different levels of mind, because your mind is not one thing. Your mind is made of multiple things. And I look forward to sharing that with you in the next lesson. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in to Putting on the New You. My name is Melvin, and I look forward to being with you real soon. Thank you and have a wonderful day.